I was underwater, close to shore, making a visual and photographic survey of a beautiful area. I had been hired by the State Park Commission to study this region carefully to see if it would be suitable for a state park, an underwater park. Though it was the time of year when the water was the least clear, I was still getting excellent film of the scenery and the marine life. In fact, I soon used up all the movie film that I had with me. I returned to the job with 2 still cameras in waterproof bags. I brought my sea scooter in order to cover a larger area rapidly. The more I saw of this underwater paradise and its inhabitants, the more enthusiastic I became. I noted interesting varieties of abalone. The lobsters here, obviously, had a good chance to grow. Schools of unusual fish were plentiful. They maneuvered like a well-trained corps de ballet. But to recommend the area would be a heavy responsibility. Though it seemed perfect for diving, 2 skin divers have been found dead in these waters since the Commission's announcement of its plans. I didn't know that another well-armed diver had chosen me as victim number 3. My assailant believed in hit-and-run tactics. I had to get out of there before he could hit again.
So you tore your hose?
No. It was ripped by that thing. Almost ripped me.
Well, where the devil would a thing like this come from?
Somebody shot it at me.
You're kidding.
No.
Did you see him?
No. It's just his back as he swam away. Look at that thing, huh? You know what that is? That's a swordfish, Bill. Fitted over the end of a regular spear.
Boy, that's way out.
Suppose that he had hit me with this thing, and he took it out of my body afterwards. How would you have thought that I'd been killed?
Well, I figured you tangled with the swordfish and came out second.
That's right. I'm gonna go back down there. Here.
Thing's sharp.
Cut yourself?
Oh, it's just a scratch.
I'll get something for it.
It isn't anything.
No trouble, no trouble. Hey, you all right, boy?
I don't know, Mike. All of a sudden, I feel awfully woozy.
Let me take your pulse here, boy. Hey, that thumb of yours is really swelling. It's got a hypodermic needle in the end of it.
Suppose it's poison?
I'm gonna treat this as if it were. Squeeze on that, huh? Get poison in the bloodstream. Get you to the doctor right away, fella. Start screaming. Keep that hand down. I raced Billy to a hospital. It was lucky that I did. A few hours later, would have been too late. Meantime, I made a confidential visit to a friend of mine, Captain McMurdy of the state police.
You were right, Mike. The lab report confirmed that the needle in the end of this spear contained poison.
Uh-huh. Well, now, what about those other two divers? The ones whose bodies were found?
Well, the coroner's verdict in each case read accidental death due to drowning.
What do you think now?
Now I'm not so sure. Mike, do you know anybody who'd have any reason to kill you?
No. No, I don't. Unless it's because I'm the guy that's making a report. Any diver who's been down there would know that it'd have to be a mighty good one.
But who's against a state park? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, somebody's against it. They wouldn't be trying to kill people with that poisoned spear. You know, when that guy missed me, he left in a big hurry. He might have dropped something. I think I'll go down and take a look. Might find something.
I'll take you out.
Okay. Oh, on second thought, maybe you better not. If there's a police boat in that area, it might scare them off. I think I better tackle this by myself, huh?
Okay, Mike. We'll try it your way this time. Take care.
Oh, I intend to. McMurdy's fears were not groundless. Even while I prepared to dive, I was being carefully watched. I started with the area where I had last seen the attacker disappearing. I carefully inspected every foot. If anything at all was to be found, a torn piece of rubber, a discarded bottle, a swim fin, or whatever, I was determined not to miss it. I saw something shiny, but it was just a bright piece of seashell. Each time I moved on, I was careful to watch everything around me. I checked the surface too, but I guess not often enough. Been hit like a bombing target. Fortunately, most of the force had been taken up by my tanks rather than my head. I looked over the anchor, which had almost taken my life. It had no special marking or anything else that might make it identifiable. When I looked up again, there was nothing in sight. The speedboat just missed me. I'd been very lucky, and in more ways than one. As I made my frantic dive to escape the boat's bow and propeller, I had caught a glimpse of something. Something that might be a break. For the first time, I had a clue. I couldn't wait to get back to shore. This was something that my friends in the state police could go to work on right away.
When that boat tore off, there was a strip on the bottom of it that was a different color from the rest of the wood. I'm sure that it was a recent repair job.
But to check every boat repair establishment in a way that wouldn't arouse the suspicions of the people we're looking for would take a couple of weeks.
Oh, well, that's no good. I'll do the checking. From underwater, looking up. I'll check every single boat mooring around here as far as I can go.
No, Mike, I can't let you operate on your own this time.
I won't have to operate on my own.
Well, I'm not going to agree to anything until I find out what you have in mind.
You'll be able to locate me the same way that the Navy finds its missiles that fall into the water.
Keep on talking.
There's a radio device that fits into the nose cone. Okay, I'll show you how it works. Can I use this?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Now, there's the nose cone. The device fits into a little capsule here right next to a small hatch. When the missile hits the water, the device is released, it surfaces, and sends out a signal that the crash boats can home on.
Can you get one of these radio things?
Well, I'm pretty sure I can. It'll take me about, 6 hours to adapt it, though.
Okay, Mike. Go ahead and get one.
We're in business.
My search was long and tiring, but I checked every boat that I could find for miles around, from below, where I could spot that telltale strip of repaired bottom. Just to be sure, I rehearsed the use of the radio device. By the second day of my search, it felt as though I had looked at the keel of every small boat in that entire section. I had just about marked off every mooring location on the map. There were very few places left. One of them was a small island, just a quarter of a mile or so offshore. But its location would put it just inside the new park's boundaries. I had heard that there were just one or two luxurious homes on the island. However, there was a dock. I hid my boat in a cove and approached the dock underwater. I heard a motor and surfaced to see a cruiser making for shore. It pulled up at the dock, and its crew began unloading heavy boxes. While they were working, I slipped in under the boat for a look at the hull. There was no mistaking what I saw. This was it, all right. The same recently patched strip. Then I saw something lying on the bottom. It was a crate just like the ones being unloaded. My guess was that it had fallen overboard. From the looks of it, not long before. It was a slot machine. Suddenly, everything fell into place. The quiet little island was hiding one of those exclusive gambling casinos. But a state park would bring in the state police. It was no wonder they were willing to kill to keep what they had.
See if you can get them from the rocks.
I surfaced to get my bearings again. I was just hoping that I could get back to report what I had seen without being discovered myself. It was already too late for that. I never knew how close I came to being killed.
Come on! Come on out, you guys. I got a job for you.
When I heard the boat starting up again, I checked to see where it was heading. It was heading straight for me. If I went deep enough, I'd be safe, I thought. But I still had plenty of air for a long dive and my radio signal device to get McMurdy. McMurdy and his radio operator were trying to pinpoint my emergency signal by triangulation.
Captain McMurdy, we just got a fix on the Channel Islands. We're leaving for there right now. Send all available boats. I was confident that as long as I stayed close to the bottom, I was safe. But when I looked back again, I realized that I was facing a nightmare. The boat had dropped something that I had seen before, but only when it was searching for the bodies of people who had drowned. Grappling hooks. Deadly huge hooks that could rip into flesh with barbs more vicious than the teeth of sharks. It would take every trick I knew to escape them, if I escaped them. I was tiring rapidly, losing the agility that I needed to evade those hooks. I was barely escaping them now. I couldn't keep it up much longer, and I knew it. I was being hauled toward the surface. I could only act instinctively. My fingers raced to release the tank straps. I had to swim as far as I could on that one breath of air. When I surfaced, that would be it. I swam until I could stay down no longer. Whatever was going to happen, would happen.
Hi, I'm Lloyd Bridges, inviting you to join us for another action-packed story of underwater adventure 1 week from today.
Water can slow down a bullet until it becomes harmless in just a few feet. Knowing this has saved my life several times. Lester Krecht, who was shooting, was not trying to kill me. We were conducting an unusual experiment. This was the first time that I'd ever been called on to make a scientific study of the way water reduces a bullet's force. I was recording the depth penetration of shots from various types of pistols, rifles, and automatic weapons. Most of them of foreign origin. The second man was Greg Andrews. He had a strange accent, and I didn't know any more about him than I did about Les. They had been introduced to me by a man I trusted completely. He had requested that I ask no questions. All he would tell me was that any training or knowledge that I gave these two men would be used for a very good purpose. My curiosity got the better of me. I was dying to know who these two men were and what they were up to. Before long, much sooner than I ever expected, I was to discover how little difference there was between dying to find out and almost dying when you did find out. We had just completed phase 1 of an operation that was still a complete mystery to me.
Oh, here you are, gentlemen. Your penetration tables, all typed up.
Good. This the only copy?
Yeah, that's the only copy. The main thing that you fellas are trying to find out, I suppose, is the absolute minimum at which you could operate below the surface of the water without danger of being hit from above by light or heavy weapons, isn't that so?
Mr. Nelson, if you're ready, we'd next like to go into the subject of underwater movement by artificial propulsion.
Well, there are various ways. Want to start with the sea scooter first?
Yes, we'd like to test that. The most powerful type.
Oh, there's a new supercharged type just out in the market. I think I can get one here by tomorrow for you.
This afternoon, Mr. Nelson.
Okay, this afternoon.
Oh, Mr. Nelson, I'm sure you can't help wondering why we take the special precautions we do. Why we seem to be impatient to get things going.
Well, since you brought it up, yes, I do wonder.
Well, your curiosity is understandable. However, and you may take my word for it, you may be a lot better off if you don't know. If you never know.
They picked up the knack of handling a sea scooter very quickly, and soon the three of us were doing complicated maneuvers. They wanted me to push them hard, and I did. Occasionally, we pushed too hard and had to surface in a hurry. I was prepared for that. But I wasn't prepared for the next thing they came up with.
Mike Nelson, Millie Culbertson.
How do you do?
Miss Culbertson?
Miss Culbertson will be with us. Now, Mr. Nelson, we have a very special reason for wanting Miss Culbertson to join us at once, underwater.
Okay, I'll get you a tank. Miss Culbertson, you got a pair of fins and a mask in the car?
No.
Oh, you do know how to dive, don't you? I mean, you know how to use one of these units.
No, I don't.
Oh, she'll have to be checked out in the pool before I take her out in the ocean.
We have no time.
That's part of the idea.
She has to be underwater with whatever instruction you can give her in 5 minutes.
What do you mean?
5 minutes, no more.
What do you mean she has to be?
She has to be.
Do you realize how dangerous this could be?
Yes. And we know what we're doing.
Oh, no, you don't, or you wouldn't suggest such a thing.
We have no alternative.
I'm to give this girl 5 minutes instructions, then you're going to push her into the ocean?
We're operating under a set of circumstances that will prevail. Now, Mr. Nelson, your friend said we could rely on you. This is a matter of life and death.
Yes, this girl's life.
I'm willing, Mr. Nelson.
It's that important to you?
Yes.
It's that important to all of us.
Well, I've been in a lot of strange deals, but this is a... Well, let's stop some more.
I could see that Millie was game, but also frightened. She had hit the water with just 5 minutes of instruction, as Les had ordered. I watched her anxiously. She had a great deal of trouble learning to clear the water out of her face mask. She also had trouble clearing her ears. It was obvious that she'd be happier on the surface, but she fought hard to stay with us. This seemed to satisfy both Les and Greg. Now they had other ideas. Ideas that they weren't prepared to share with me. I had gone into town. Les and Greg weren't expecting me back. I had forgotten a depth gauge that needed repair. When I first saw their boat out on the water, I thought nothing of it. Suddenly I realized that they weren't in it. They were diving on their own, and in an area of very bad currents. That could spell nothing but trouble. I had to get out there and into the water quickly. I plunged below to look for them. And there was Les and Greg, on their own, tackling those currents with their sea scooters. But even worse, with them was Millie, the girl who had had hardly any underwater experience. It was as foolish a stunt as they could have attempted. Greg was towing her as his passenger, but the current was proving too much for him, and for Millie. She lost her hold entirely. Les and Greg didn't even realize it. Millie was at the mercy of the current. I barely caught her. The current tore at us viciously, but I held on to her. Here. This is it, you know. I've had it.
Oh, Mike, it was something we had to do. Something we had to know.
What? What did you have to do? Oh, you and your secrets. Well, I've had it.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Mike. All right, I'll put my cards on the table. Now, for security reasons, we were ordered to do this mission on our own. I can see now we can't get away with it without you. Now, if you want to go along, I think I can clear it with the top brass.
What is this mission?
As you probably guessed, the mission is to rescue a woman. Millie was just a stand-in for her. The woman we have to rescue is his wife.
Please help us, Mike. Please.
Yeah, Mike, if you decide to go along with us, I'll give you a thorough briefing. I won't hold anything back.
Well, I guess it's one way to find out what this is all about.
Okay.
I had been training an underwater unit, 2 men, for a mysterious rescue mission of some kind, which had been kept a secret even from me. Now they were prepared to reveal it, because they wanted me to join in the mission.
Bogdanovich. Gee, I've heard of that name before.
Sure you have. Greatest voice in Eastern Europe for freedom.
That's right.
Well, now our voice is being stifled in a concentration camp. And we've got good reason to believe that she'll be shot pretty soon. All right, now. The prison camp is located on the shore of a deep inlet that leads back from a bay on the coast of a very small little country here. The country's so small, it's practically been forgotten by everybody. But it's still in the iron grip of the men who seized it many years ago. Now, our entrance from the sea will be through here, where the gap narrows and the currents are the strongest. Within the inlet, the camp is on one shore, the hospital's on the opposite shore. When anyone gets sick, they transport them from the camp across to the hospital in a launch. Our job is to get into this inlet undetected, which means underwater. Intercept the launch on the day that Magda gets the message telling her to be in it, and make a break for the sea, taking Magda with us.
Oh, that sounds like a tough one.
Yeah. What makes it tougher is the gap area we have to pass through into the sea is under constant patrol.
Oh, that's not too much of a problem, I don't think, if we stay deep enough. But stopping that boat, well, how do you propose to do that?
Foul up the rudder and propellers with the net we bring in with us? Oh, what do you think of it, Mike?
Well, you fellas have done a great job in planning this thing, but I don't think that's the way to stop that boat.
It's the best we could come up with.
Look, what do you think of this idea? You say they cross from here over to the hospital.
Right.
We'll be coming in from this direction here,
In less than a week, the operation was on. Our approach was in an amphibian, just skimming the wave tops to duck under coastal radar. We were dropped at sea within striking distance of the bay and its inlet. We had all of our equipment with us, including pistols and plastic bags and the sea scooters. We also had a new piece of equipment, a dummy dressed in the uniform of a captain of the guards. Prison launch was leaving its dock at 3:35, exactly on schedule. By 3:41, we were in the inlet itself, directly below the course that would be taken by the launch. We were preparing to put our plans into action and watching the time like human clocks. We had one big break. The launch was going to have to cross the foggy area. We could make out the launch coming in our direction. I could only hope that my scheme for stopping it would work. We let the dummy float to the surface. Fallen for my trick. Now we had to make the most of it. Les was manipulating the dummy, keeping it just out of reach of the guards. Greg and I disabled the propellers. What we'd be able to do on board was anybody's guess. Save that for later. Come on, Greg, come on. I had to teach Magna Androvich how to use a diving lung in less than a minute. Even under ideal conditions, this wouldn't be easy. We still hadn't been noticed by the two guards at the bow. We had to be quiet. Magna's English wasn't very good, but she knew that her life depended on using the lung. We hit the water at 3:56, 2 minutes ahead of our schedule. Our attack had been successful. Now we had something even harder to accomplish: our escape. Something was wrong with one of our scooters. It looked as if one of the blades had been bent. I sent Greg and Magna ahead. Les and I remained to work the scooter. I was wondering if we should abandon it. The guards on the launch were zeroing in on us. Les hit the guard as he attacked. He disarmed him of his bayonet. The bayonet was exactly the pry bar that I needed to straighten the propellers. A general alarm was being sounded along the shore installations. Greg and Magna were already being fired on from the shore. Les and I joined them as quickly as we could, but we were already behind schedule. I signaled to them to continue staying as close to the bottom as possible. Our studies of bullet penetration were paying off now as we had planned. We had something in store for us, though, that we hadn't planned. Grenades. There was nothing to do but keep on, hoping that we could stand the concussion. At last, we were moving out of range. It was 4:30 when we reached the open sea and began to move to the surface. Our amphibian was to wait for us only until 4:35. Then, for the protection of its crew, it was to make its own escape, whether we were there or not. The amphibian was still waiting, 3 minutes after its planned departure time. We were flying out to safety and to freedom.
Hi there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is certainly a lot of fun, and it's full of adventure. See some more of it again next week, huh? When there'll be another excursion into that fabulous underwater world of Sea Hunt.